How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, since they have released we're going to get into the some of the grand jury's recordings, I have been researching from Friday all the way to Sunday. And it was a lot to unpack. So at some point, I just had to stop to present what I needed to present to the royal family. So I tried my best to condense it down. I do have a bonus video. And then after the fact, you can go over to Anchor and I unleash the dragon. Y'all see the title. Daniel Cameron is a lying bitch and a true nigga. I'll remind you at the end, my royal family. So, I have some things to read the royal family. I have many videos to show. It's going to be long, my royal family. We're going to go on this journey. So, I'm going to read here, my royal family, bits and pieces of an article to get everything set up. And this is from the Daily Beast. They published this today, in fact. Every element of the criminal system is impacted in the failure to, implicated in the failure to secure justice for Breonna Taylor. The cop, the judges who signed off the warrant that set the events leading to Taylor's death in motion, like obtaining the paperwork, using fabricated information, shabby police work, saw Louisville law enforcement raid Taylor's home despite the fact that the suspect they sought was already in custody. The 3 police officers who killed Taylor, wildly firing more than 30 rounds between them in the darkness of her apartment, pumping at least 6 rounds into her body. They then ignored their own protocols, compromising the crime scene, and in the aftermath, Taylor's killing, Commonwealth attorney, and I want y'all to keep this on your frontal lobe, Tom Wine, who basically focused on smearing her reputation. Now, don't be surprised if this attorney might be the very one that implicate all the pigs in the parties involved in her outright murder. Don't be surprised. Now, he smeared her and he did everything possible to get her boyfriend convicted. But as stuff poured in and he see that it was going to affect his immediate situation, he backed off. So again, Tom Wine, one of the many snakes. But I'm not going to show his picture. Y'all can look that up on your own. I'm going to focus on what I choose to focus on. Let me see what else is here. Oh yeah, so Tom was the one trying to, along with Cameron, attempting to nail her as a co-defendant in a plea bargain. You know, that was with her ex-boyfriend. And then the additional stuff here is Kenneth Attorney General Daniel Cameron seemingly, he tried to avoid anything possible getting them implicated in any of this. And he was successful at it. But didn't work out quite like that. And I mean, it is quite eye-opening what's going down. So let me eliminate a couple of things here because I'm working off of 2 computers. This has been a lot to unpack. Okay. So what I'm going to read to y'all a little bit later, I had that already on post. And let's get into this first video.
Now here at 6, after receiving an extension from a Jefferson County judge, today the Attorney General Daniel Cameron's office did release the grand jury recordings in the Breonna Taylor case. 15 hours, and the WHAS 11 News team has been going through all of the recordings today. Paula Vassan joining us live again from Jefferson Square downtown to explain more about what we've been learning from the recordings. Paula, what did the grand jury hear from the police officers involved in the Breonna Taylor case?
Well, Doug, yeah, we've been listening to 15 hours of grand jury testimony. All day our team has been poring over it. One of the things we heard was testimony from John Mattingly, one of the officers involved in the shooting of Breonna Taylor. He mentioned arriving at Breonna Taylor's house, knocking on the door repeatedly, and announcing LMPD.
So I know throughout the day, we never hear Daniel Cameron's voice on the recordings. We followed up with his office today to ask them about that. Did he make any of the presentations or recommendations in person?
Yeah, well, Daniel Cameron's office says actually all audio evidence was presented to us, and we are hearing everything, but they say that prosecutor recommendations and statements were not included, and that's because it's not required under Kentucky law. That's according to the statement we received.
Okay, Paula, thank you very much. Now our coverage is continued here on the...
All right, my royal family. So I want y'all to keep on your frontal lobe. There was supposed to be 20 hours of audio, but they provided 15 hours. And so this is what sent me on a flying fucking rage, where I called Lisa Cabrera. I'm ranting, raving in my house to my husband because I cannot stand injustice. Let me take this down real quick. How this no good, true ass nigga did our queen. And what blew me back, because where I'm getting ready to read from came from a very unlikely source, Reddit. They can't stand us and we can't stand them. They white supremacists and we're superior, but we're agreeing today. So let me read this. I saw somewhere that 5 hours was missing from the recordings. I understand why deliberations won't be released, but is it normal for them not to release the changing recommendations? Wasn't that part of the whole point? Now, I seen it too, but I had did so much research, I can't even remember where I found out that 5 hours were missing. But they will misrepresent and say that 20 hours were being presented. You're not going to get that. Somewhere in my deep research, and this is where y'all going to have to take my word for it, because I normally show receipts, my royal family, but it was so much. So much. So when I was doing my deep research, only 3 minutes and 16 seconds, again, 3 minutes and 16 seconds of the recording was redacted. Now, this lying bitch said that he needed a whole nother week to protect people's names and addresses and all of that. And it was only 3 minutes. So the judge, she said, no, you got till Friday. So not only is the 3 minutes missing, also the an additional 5 hours. And if you pay real close attention to that segment that I played y'all, any statements, anything that he presented, and any recommendations that he gave is not there at all. So if you have listened to the recordings, it's like he ain't there at all. And then he proceeds to say that under Kentucky law, they don't record any statements, any evidence, or any recommendations that the Attorney General present. I could go along possibly with it not being recorded, but trust and believe the stenographer recorded it. Now, what's going on with the 5 hours? So that's a breach. He did 2 of them, not presenting the shit when the judge said present the shit, and he provided a motion for an extension. So he needed an extension for 3 minutes, but he arbitrarily went ahead, because I said he missing sleep, and took out 5 hours. Oh, it's going to be some problems Monday. It ain't good for him at all, because all these stall tactics that he is pulling is implicating him even more. And then he got a fucking attitude. Well, True Royal got an attitude, and I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it. Oh, y'all really need to listen to my anchor after the fact. So, people on Reddit, they had some questions, like everybody else. So the big question everyone wants to know, thus to push to get these released, won't know because Cameron omitted them from the release recordings. That doesn't look good for him. Now, these are white supremacists speaking. Okay, the carrier, or they call themselves the journal carrier. Somebody said, well, the journal carrier article on it made it sound like they were never recorded. Not that they were cut. Cameron's statement. Jury deliberations and the prosecutor's recommendations and statements were not recorded as they are not evidence. It may also be a case of, let me see here. Okay, it also might be a case of systematic, and again, like how the LMPD technically did not lie when saying there was no body cam footage of the shooting. That ain't true. There was some body cams out there. That wasn't there. Was there a bunch of stuff afterwards that they chose not to mention because technically that wasn't what they were asked for? See, now they being real technical with language. Maybe this normal procedure that is not what I expected at especially since a huge portion of the focus on the charges Cameron recommended to them. I was hoping to hear the conversation, and if the jury were allowed to ask questions. So what this motherfucker is doing is playing with language, because the judge gonna come at him and say, why you didn't present that? And he's going by the law. Now he's looking up the law. All right, got to remember he don't have no experience anyway, but he clever enough to look up the law. So how he gonna try to back himself up with them 5 hours that we know that is his voice, and he's saying that ain't pertinent enough? He gonna come at the judge and tell the judge, oh, he gonna try to be real technical with words and say, oh, I thought you wanted exactly this, knowing that the judge wanted all, and nothing needs to be deducted from the judge. The judge have her own staff as we continue on. So let me see here what else was said. Okay, so then somebody said, can someone verify that the AG's recommendations of charges is exempt from the 20 hours of tapes? That is crazy. It ain't no 20 hours. Again, 15. If my basic understanding is correct, the evidence release the evidence, present all proceedings. Yeah, present it all. Deliberations, everything. We got to know the whole fucking picture. People weren't only asking for evidence to be released. We wanted to know the charges were recommended as well. This isn't only about if the police did a good job. We also want to know if the AG did a good job. That's true. They right about that. And then somebody said, I thought the release recordings ended abruptly. Yeah, because that's where them fucking 5 hours was cut off. He don't want nobody to know what was said What did he recommend? What greasy ass shit did he do? True ass nigga. True Royal ain't letting up. I know some people get tired of me in my mouth, but when I feel what I feel, I'm gonna always stay true.
Newly released audio recordings provide some answers about how the execution of a search warrant ended with the death of Breonna Taylor.
At the threshold of the door, I am immediately overwhelmed with bright flashes and darkness.
The recordings include testimony from investigators with the Attorney General's office, body camera footage, and 911 calls made on March 13th. Jurors also saw photographs of Taylor's apartment and heard interviews with the officers who were involved: John Mattingly, Miles Cosgrove, and Brett Hankison. It's the first time we've heard from Cosgrove and Hankison. Their testimony shed more light on what happened after officers broke down Taylor's door.
I saw darkness in the apartment, but then I saw immediate illumination of fire. And what I saw at the time was a figure in a shooting stance.
I don't see her very much. I see this hawk, this tunnel. And it's almost instantaneous that I realize that John is kind of at my feet.
Cosgrove told investigators with the AG's office that he fired shots, but he couldn't remember how many.
It's like I'm in a cave of complete, utter silence. So I don't hear anything.
In an interview with LMPD's Public Integrity Unit, Hankison says he ran back to the front of Taylor's building when the shooting started. He believed the person inside had an automatic rifle and was ambushing the other officers, so he fired through the patio door and a bedroom window.
When I returned the fire through that window, I guess whatever room it is, then it stopped immediately. It was almost like whatever the target had stopped firing.
But the Attorney General confirmed that Kenneth Walker fired just one shot from a Glock 43. In an interview with the PIU, Walker said he didn't understand why police were at Taylor's apartment. He believed they were intruders.
We never have no dealings with the police or whatever, so if I'm there at the door, I was police, it changes the whole situation.
The grand jury asked several questions about the timing of the search warrant. Investigator Jeff Fogg alluded to issues with how the warrant was obtained, but told the grand jury it was not the focus of this investigation.
The officers were executing a valid search warrant. The officers that served this warrant were acting in good faith.
In an interview with the PIU, SWAT Lieutenant Dale Massey, who arrived after the shooting, says the team should have waited for SWAT to execute the warrant.
As we keep everything out, it's just an egregious act. I mean, from our perspective, it just seemed like there's no target identification whatsoever for those random shots in the car.
The recordings end with a prosecutor reading charges for 3 counts of wanton endangerment against Brett Hankison. No other charges were discussed.
All right. So they sitting up here talking about gonna tell us, basically they telling us, or they were telling the jurors not to focus on how they executed that warrant.
The night Breonna Taylor was killed, her neighbor tells us she heard.
We get that set up. Not to how they executed that warrant, and we knew day one that the warrant was not executed properly. You know, nothing was done properly in this situation. There was no reason for their ass to be over there. I think this is important to listen to.
The night Breonna Taylor was killed, her neighbor tells us she heard banging and then the sound of gunfire. She turned on her cell phone camera just in time to catch what happened next.
He was saying he was scared and stuff. He was like, my girl. I heard him saying, my girl, I'm scared.
Janiyah Utterback watched from her window as Louisville police ordered Kenneth Walker to come out of his girlfriend Breonna Taylor's apartment in the early morning hours of March 13th.
They had the guns pointed all at him, all at everybody's house.
Utterback says just minutes before, she heard what she thought was an argument.
Then I heard like some beating, some loud beating, and I heard like come out or something like that. I just heard shots like bop, 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 a whole lot of shots.
What she heard was 3 officers from LMPD's Criminal Interdiction Unit executing a search warrant at Taylor's home. When they forced entry, Walker, who says he believed they were intruders, fired a shot and the officers fired back. Taylor was standing in the hallway and was hit several times. She died at the scene.
They never said police.
Utterback says she began recording video with her cell phone after she saw an injured officer come out of the apartment and someone shout, "Reload." She watched as they yelled for Kenneth Walker to come out.
Come outside. Turn around, face away. Turn around, face away. Turn around and face away.
Walker responds, "I'm trying," and he's seen backing up between 2 cars and kneeling down in front of officers. Utterback's next video shows him being escorted by police in handcuffs.
Yeah, I was scared because I was like, dang, the police is really out here. Like, it's like, got guns on everybody's houses and stuff. Like, we don't know what's going on.
The next morning, she says, she watched as a body bag was taken out of Taylor's apartment.
The police is the people we call when we need help. Like, they killing us. We can't, that's not right. And she didn't deserve it.
Denny Camper.
Yeah, our queen is absolutely right. Let's not lose sight, my royal family, that when I did that video about Lieutenant, damn, I gotta look at my own stuff. Give me just a second. Let me look on my own computer. Because when you're doing this type of stuff, it's a lot to be coming in, my royal family. It can wear you out. So I had did a video. Let's see. Let me see here. Where Lieutenant, what's his name? Daniel? Where the hell am I looking at? I'm on my own channel looking at stuff. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the last video. Yes, and that was over an hour. Lieutenant Dale Macy, part of SWAT. They was not even aware that there was going to be another raid. They were aware a month ago that Jamarcus' place was going to be raided in other places, and that's protocol. You know, they all spread it out in different departments, but just the memo, just to keep the others alert that some stuff may pop off. Let's keep that on our frontal lobe. Now, let's get in here into my first email, because I got some of these videos that just pop up. So I have 2 from my emails that I want y'all to listen to. Let me get this going.
Newly released audio recordings provide some answers about how the execution of a search warrant ended with the death of Breonna Taylor.
I'm at the threshold of the door. I am immediately overwhelmed with bright flashes and darkness.
The recordings include testimony from investigators with the Attorney General's office, body camera footage, and 911 calls made on March 13th. Jurors also saw photographs of Taylor's apartment and heard interviews with the officers who were involved, John Mattingly, Miles Cosgrove, and Brett Hankison. It's the first time we've heard from Cosgrove and Hankison.
Got a little glitch here. Let's freeze it for just a second. While that's working itself out, I'm going to take it back just a little bit. You know how that can be. You know, True Royal don't edit nothing. It ain't meant me to do it. Plus, I don't know how to do it, just to be frank with y'all. I'm going to sit up here and lie to my family and stuff. So let's see if we can continue on. I think we will be able to finish this.
The officers who were involved, John Mattingly, Miles Cosgrove, and Brett Hankison. It's the first time we've heard from Cosgrove and Hankison. Their testimony shed more light on what happened after officers broke down Taylor's door.
I saw darkness in the apartment, but then I saw immediate illumination of fire. And what I saw at the time was a figure in a shooting stance.
I don't see a room, I just see this hall, this tunnel. And it's almost instantaneous that I realize that John is kind of at my feet.
Cosgrove told investigators with the AG's office that he fired shots, but he couldn't remember how many.
It's like I'm in a cave of complete, utter silence. So I don't hear anything.
In an interview with LMPD's Public Integrity Unit, Hankison says he ran back to the front of Taylor's building when the shooting started. He believed the person inside had an automatic rifle and was ambushing the other officers, so he fired through the patio door and a bedroom window.
When I returned fire through that window, I guess whatever room it is, then it stopped immediately. It was almost like whatever the target had stopped firing.
Now, check that out. Let's go back slightly on that. Now, the very cop that was charged, he wasn't charged in anything to have to do with Breonna being killed. And he's saying out of his mouth, basically, he's assuming that the pigs is being ambushed. So he runs to the back, not knowing who he's shooting at. He could be shooting at his own. And shot into the apartment. But what ends up ultimately happening, he gets implicated on shooting wildly up into some white people's apartment. And that's the only thing that this definition of a true nigga was worried about. As we continue on, my royal family.
Whatever the target has stopped firing.
But the Attorney General confirmed that Kenneth Walker fired just one shot from a Glock 43. In an interview with the PIU, Walker said he didn't understand why police were at Taylor's apartment. He believed they were intruders.
They never have no dealings with the police or whatever, so if I were here at the door, I was police, it changes the whole situation.
The grand jury asked several questions about the timing of the search warrant. Investigator Jeff Fogg alluded to issues with how the warrant was obtained, but told the grand jury it was not the focus of this investigation.
Okay, we already seen that part of that. I just thought it was necessary to play that. And we got that part there. Let me take that down. Let me take this down. If I overlapped on something, my royal family, it was for a reason.
Grand jury recordings released today paint a picture of the night Breonna Taylor was killed by police. We're hearing from LMPD officers, neighbors, witnesses, and investigators about what happened.
A team of WDRB journalists has been combing through hours of testimony and evidence today. Hayden Grosevsky shares some of what we have learned so far with us. Hayden.
Fallon, David, the grand jury testimony lasted 2.5 days, and there is a lot of stuff to go through. The proceedings are usually secret, but a judge ordered the recordings to be released today.
She heard an officer say, reload, reload. Let's do what we need to do. The other officers in the back were saying, get down, get down.
Testimony from neighbors at this apartment complex read to the grand jury reveals more about the chaotic scene the night Breonna Taylor was killed by police.
Walker was yelling for help, saying, baby, breathe, please breathe.
Former LMPD detective Brett Hankison's police interview was also played. Hankison was the only officer charged for his actions during the raid, 3 counts of wanton endangerment for firing into a neighboring apartment. In his interview, Hankison said he heard an officer was down and heard rapid gunfire. Kenneth Walker, Taylor's boyfriend, fired a single shot and hit Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly in the leg. Walker has said he thought police were intruders breaking into the apartment. Hankison claims he saw muzzle flashes inside the apartment and shot through a sliding glass door in the direction of those flashes.
I didn't know if John was down and they couldn't get his body out, or if he was... But all I could hear was the firing, and I saw the flashes. I thought they were just being executed because I knew they were helping John. Because John said, I'm hit, I'm down. And the gunfire intensified. So I was almost under the impression at the time that they were either all getting sprayed with bullets.
The flashes Hankison referenced were the shots being fired by LMPD officers. Detective Miles Cosgrove fired 16 shots, and the Attorney General says one of those shots killed Taylor. But Cosgrove said he couldn't recall firing during the raid.
I did not have any hand sensation in my hands. I mean, we've all fired weapons here. You know that they have a distinct feel to it. And I did not have any hand sensation or any recollection that I'm firing a gun. If you told me I didn't fire a gun, I'd be like, okay.
The Attorney General said the officers were justified in their use of force since they were fired upon first. But questions remain about whether police knocked and identified themselves before they broke down Taylor's door. The AG says one witness said he heard police do both. An interview with a detective on scene adds more context.
It shouldn't be a problem. It's supposed to be hurting a kid, maybe a small child there. So that's why we decided to not. It was a no-knock warrant, but we wanted to give time just because we're done before little kids. You can hear movement, but there's no answer.
Again, these are only short sections our team pulled from about 15 hours of grand jury recordings. You can listen to the recordings for yourself right now. They're posted on our website, WDRB.com.
She clearly said 15 hours, my royal family. But as you go from various media outlets, you will hear 20.
15 hours of testimony and evidence presented to a Jefferson County grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case. Recordings of the typically secret proceedings now public.
Tonight, we examine the questions those jurors asked investigators about key details in the case.
Did they know that she was there alone? Or will we hear more about that?
Recordings reveal what grand jurors wanted to know about the night Breonna Taylor was killed. The jurors asked investigators with the Attorney General's office questions as they were walked through hours of evidence and testimony. Jurors wanted to know more about the warrant police used in the raid.
And it was for what? Guns, drugs, and money?
Illegal drugs, paraphernalia, and money.
But none was found, just the gun that the man shot with.
The AG's investigator told the grand jury the warrant was valid.
The officers were executing a valid search warrant. The officers that served this warrant were acting in good faith. That's the term there.
The jurors also wanted to know why there wasn't any body camera footage of the shooting.
Okay, that sucker did not say that was valid. He said acting in good faith.
Didn't the city say they don't use body cams for this type of operation?
I don't know. I mean, if the city said that, I don't know it. I believe they've changed their policy since this incident.
The grand jury was told that one officer thought he activated his body camera, but it didn't work.
He had one as person who did not have it activated. He says he thought he activated it.
Grand jurors also had questions about what they heard from the officers who fired their weapons. In his interview, Detective Miles Cosgrove told investigators he had difficulty remembering how many shots he fired.
I did not have any pain sensation or any recollection that I'm firing a gun.
Attorney General Daniel Cameron says Cosgrove fired 16 shots. Grand jurors asked whether it would be unusual for a police officer who discharged a weapon not to remember how many shots were fired. An investigator with Cameron's office said he's interviewed a lot of people who have fired weapons in his career.
Well, I would say it's not common for people to experience that. It's definitely not common to say, from my past, if someone shot another human being 4 or 5 times, even more, that they may think they just shot once. So that's common.
Again, these are just short snippets of what was presented to the grand jury. We have the full recordings posted on our website, WDRB.
All right. So let me make sure I covered myself, because anything I put up, I really, okay. So let me take that down. And let me go here real quick. So we know that what this coon is on, and he's delaying the inevitable. So we'll leave that right there for just a minute, and we're going to get into a bonus video. In this bonus video, I'm going to point out one thing. This is a spiritual video. I know it may seem not like it. And the ones that are my empaths and the ones that email me behind the scenes, pay attention to numbers. There's many of us. I'm speaking very coded. There's many of us. And they can be in the most unlikely places. And you're looking at one.
What up, good people? So, like I told you folks before, man, I told you folks that I have cops on the inside, good cops. Not any cops that's doing any type of illegal work or anything like that. Good cops that's making a stand against these corrupt police, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take infiltrating the system. And one of my favorite stories that I picked up on when I was in school was the Trojan horse story. And that story consists of the way these people infiltrated a whole nother city and took it over by simply building a Trojan horse and making it like it was a gift. But inside that Trojan horse, there was a lot of soldiers. And once they took that gift and let that horse go in there, because they could not penetrate the walls of the city. So once that horse got in there, all those soldiers waited till nighttime, crawled out of that horse, and began to slay everyone in that village. Basically, folks, what I'm trying to tell you is this one of my Trojan horses right here, one of the soldiers in my Trojan horse, a real cop who was there to do real work. And now he has began and it has been slaying corruption. And today, this man was walked out of his job with no explanation. But the reason why is because they've done illegal things to find out that me and this man is connected. But at the end of the day, I'm going to let my man talk. He's in uniform right now, so y'all know he's a real deal cop. Y'all can look his name up, but as of today, he has been fired.
Okay. How y'all doing, guys? I just want to say yes. As of today, I was walked out of my job. I was actually taking a law class because I just started with the department, and one of my superiors came in, pulled me out of the class, and told me that that the lieutenant wanted to speak to me. I walked into the lieutenant's office, and the only thing that the lieutenant said to me was, and I quote, "I spoke to the chief and he does not want you working here anymore." Here is proof. This is from the Louisville Metro Police Department as of September 29th.
Y'all see the seal on it? This is real, y'all. This is real. You see the Kentucky seal right there.
Oh yeah, I mean we got our chief, Robert Schroeder, who actually, it's funny.
Do you care to read that to him?
I'll read it to him. I don't know if you know this, but he's only the chief until tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
hey, and check this out. My guy's an excellent reader. Okay, check him out. Check him out. Read this.
So I'll read this to you guys. September 29th, 2020, probationary officer Typhon Robinson, recruit number 5381. That is me, in the LMPD training division. Dear Mr. Robinson, in order to promote the efficiency of the Louisville Metro Police Department, I determined to terminate your employment with LMPD effective immediately. Sincerely, Robert Schroeder. There's his name there, Chief of Police. And then this is also endorsed by Colonel Shara Parks, Colonel Josh Judah, Major Paul Humphrey, Dennis Sims, professional, what is he, a professional standards unit, some human resources, and this is the Fraternal Order of Police. This was witnessed by my superior, Crystal Powell. And yeah, then they asked me to sign this here too. So, and it's also endorsed by our mayor, Greg Fisher. So the reason why I'm here today is because they have found out about my association.
The reason why he's really here is because I sound crazy when I tell y'all this stuff. And nobody believes anything that comes out my mouth. Back to you.
Yeah, and what I really want to do is explain to people the whole, the entire process that I've been through to get on with Louisville Metro. So this, I applied for this position back in, I think, January or February, and this was my third time applying. I've tried to get on for years. I think the first time I applied was like 7 years ago, back in 2013, 2014, and there was always some reason why I just didn't get on. I've even applied for Louisville's Sheriff Department, and I received a letter that says we will hold your information on file. I've heard from other sheriffs on the department that's just their way of saying that they don't want you on the department. So anyways, I'm in my uniform here. Again, I was part of the MAC 47 unit for the Louisville Training Academy. And again, you can see this here. Hopefully it'll get not too fuzzy. But yeah, my name is Tyquan Robinson. You guys can look me up. So anyway, so the process that I've been through to get a job with Louisville Metro has been it's been pretty wild. It actually cost me about $2,000. They forced me to do some things that I was surprised to do. I have a few speeding tickets back when I was 17, 18, 20, 21. You know, I'm 38 years old now, and they forced me to get my record expunged, which I have done that. That cost me $600. I have proof of that. There were a lot of other intangible things that I was forced to pay for. Again, I'm at about a total of $2,000. I've been in the training class. This is my third week. So I didn't last 3 weeks. I also have proof. Kendrick, hand me my phone on the table right there. I want to capture this on camera because the fact of the matter is us posting this video does endanger our lives. I know it endangers mine 100%. And you guys know it's been Kendrick versus, I want to say the country, but definitely Kendrick versus Jefferson County, namely Louisville Metro Police Department, Brett Hankinson and his corruption, Louisville Metro Police Department and their corruption. So we are putting our lives on the line for this. And it's really disappointing to me because all this got started, God rest his soul, because of George Floyd. So, I want to tip my hat off to him because his death really was the catalyst for Black people to start standing up for our rights, our equal rights.
Let me say something before we go any farther. I want to tell y'all a little story about this guy, man. So I went down to that protest here in Louisville. And he was fired up. First of all, he's the dude. He's one of the people who lit the flame in me and kind of opened my eyes up to racism. He taught me about racism about 6-7 years ago because I was blind to it. He pulled me aside and told me some things. And ever since he told me these things, I looked at the world different. This guy right here. But let me tell y'all something. I was down at that Louisville protest. I was down there for 2 days down there by myself. No friends, no family. I was down there protesting. This guy calls me, knowing that he's supposed to become a police officer soon or whatever. He calls me, knowing he's not allowed to be down there. He stands right beside me as we tell my story about Brett Hankinson. And not only did he stand right beside me, he vouched for every word I said because this is one of the guys that knows it's the truth, and he was even a witness in some of the situations where Brett Hankinson planted drugs on me.
Yes. So that was a lot of the purpose for me doing what I'm doing. I've always wanted to be a police officer, but I didn't want to be a corrupt police officer. And we here in Louisville all know that that's been something that's pretty normal. So after George Floyd's death, that's when I really decided. I mean, that was the last straw for me. And then Breonna Taylor, I had to do something. So I went down to protest for equal rights. These senseless killings of Black people, especially by the hands of law enforcement, unarmed Black people at that, had just gotten to my boiling point. I couldn't take it anymore. So I just wanted to be a voice along with Kendrick and make some noise and bring awareness to the fact that Black men, especially, and even Black women, our lives are in danger for not being dangerous people. And that's just a scary thing to live with. It's a scary fact. It's a scary truth. Here in our city. So I don't know exactly how they tied me to Kendrick other than, social media and things like that. But I do want to show you guys this because They may get into my phone. I know they've gotten into Kendrick's and wiped out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to capture this on record really quick while I can. They tried to delete it. So I'm in a group with 17 other recruits, and they told me the reason why I got let go.
Hold on. You look for this.
I got it.
For that.
Yeah.
Before he goes any farther, I want to tell y'all something. Did y'all not hear this man? He's always wanted to be a cop.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what I want you guys to realize about this guy and everybody, the whole East End of Louisville, the rich people out in Louisville, they know this guy. He was raised out there amongst these people. Not only are we going to make, this is why I've been posting my Cash App, folks, because I got people losing their jobs. And I'm trying to pay this man. I paid this man as much as I could today. But listen, folks, not only have Kwani have always wanted to be a police officer, now we need to push forward because this guy is smart. He's intelligent. He has a college degree. We don't want to push for Kwani to get his job back. Last time I checked, Louisville needs a police chief. Well, guess what, Louisville? We have a police chief candidate sitting right here. Y'all make sure y'all promote Kwani Robertson to be Louisville's new police chief. He is smart, he is intelligent, and he does not come up from a pipeline of corruption. And that's what we need. We need change, not experience. We need a guy who's willing to get in there and do it differently. Because if you're experienced with the Louisville Police Department, you're going to do the same corrupt shit that's been going on. We need someone that is fresh, and that's this man right here.
Yeah, well, it's funny. After my experience here today, I wouldn't want anything to do with Louisville Metro or any department here in Jefferson County. I'm actually disgusted. So here's what I want to show you guys, and hopefully this will focus. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Well, I'm going to hold this here for a minute, and I'm sure if, let me see if I get closer. Still a little bit shaky.
Pick it up. I'll pick it up.
A little bit shaky.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's me, Mac 45. That's my group of guys. And I'll read this. So I had one of the other recruits ask me, what happened? Where'd you go? Like I said, they pulled me out of, the middle of a class. And my response to them was they didn't tell me anything. They just had me sign this paper right here that I've shown you guys and told me to leave. Well, one of the students, his name is Ryan Horning, and I quote, this is right here, and I can post this too. It stated, Officer Powell stated it wasn't about what happened today, told us to watch who you hang out with, and that was what she stated. So what's funny is, of course, Kendrick and I, we talk daily, and we knew that because of our association, this was probably going to cost me my job sooner or later, but it shouldn't. Kendrick's been, one of the strongest advocates against all the corruption in Louisville, and I haven't contributed to it. In fact, I haven't liked a post, shared a post. And Kendrick and I had this conversation months ago. He knew what I wanted to do, and he knew I couldn't be part of that, and he was okay with that. Actually, he supported me in being a police officer. So I think a lot of people are getting it misconstrued.
In fact, when he became a police officer, we went out the day before and the next night and celebrated.
Yeah.
When I say we celebrated, we celebrated.
Yeah.
We got it on camera.
Like, people would know that you have been one of my biggest supporters as far as the police
I told him straight up.
Because
I said, look,
you want good police.
I told him straight up. I support you. I don't care what anybody say about me hanging out with 12 and fuck 12. No. As long as you're a part of 12, I support 12. You. Because I know you're a good person, and I know. And I said this to him. I said, Q, no matter what, bro, do not let them become an enemy. Don't let them become, make me an enemy.
Right.
Enemy. Do not let them turn you into a monster. That's all I asked of him. I said, I'll support you, though. But don't let them turn me into your enemy. That's it.
No, policing in the city, something's not right, guys. I just lost my job, my livelihood, because of my association with somebody. I figured at least they would come to me and kind of maybe explain how they feel about it. There's a conflict of interest or something like that. But no, I didn't get that. All I got was watch who you hang out with and walked out the door. So yeah, that's all I want to tell you guys. So this is just the beginning. Again, we'll post this letter so the world can see it. This is what's going on here in our city, guys. So,
and listen, folks, it's not a money scam.
Oh, it has nothing to do with money.
We need y'all to support that Cash App. $MYCUT cash. $MYCUT cash. My cut cash. And make sure y'all put the $ in front of it on Cash App. People like him deserve to get paid for the work that they're doing. I'm paying these people as much as I can, but you know what? There's going to be more of them that lose their job because they're starting to find out that there's good cops that's in on the good inside.
Yeah.
We got to support our good cops. I got good computer people who are doing what they got to do on those computers. I got to support them. I got people in every area, folks. I'm telling y'all, I'm bringing them all down. But at the end of the day, these people deserve to be paid. Corrupt people are making millions. Look at Breonna Taylor's situation. They just made $12 million in the name of corruption. Why can't we make $100 million in the name of good? Yeah. In the name of being victorious against corruption? Y'all might not believe me, but I promise you, I'm gonna bring them all down with good people like him surrounding me and helping me. These people got my back. Do y'all not know once this video is released? Actually, before this video is released, his life is on the line now.
Oh yeah.
He needs protection. He needs a whole new home, a whole new car. Yeah. He needs that. We need y'all to support us. We have infiltrated the system as black men. Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, nobody's done what I've done, what we've done. And our circle is big. It's over 80 of us. And there's 100+ people that want to get in, but we're not letting nobody else in because we're trying our best not to be infiltrated. But at the end of the day, folks, we need y'all to donate money to that Cash App. $MYCUT cash. My cut cash. People like him deserve to have $50,000 to $60,000 overnight. He's a good cop. He deserves it. Every single dime.
They done fired me now.
Yeah, they fired him out. Take that shit off, man. Fucking burn this shit. Maybe we'll put that on camera for you. Good night, folks.
And he's not the only one, my royal family. This was necessary because I have put up bits and pieces of videos of Mr. Wilson, and he had brought this out the other night, and I have seen it on other outlets. So, Mr. Wilson, you keep doing your part. He was the one that I had played the videos of Sam Aguilar, who is one of the co-counsels to Breonna Taylor's family, in the corruption that Crump and all of them are doing. So that was just necessary, my royal family. Y'all know how I get down over here. I know this is a long video. So folks won't forget, there is a link. Y'all can go and listen to me speak for 21 minutes and 24 seconds. And let's get over here, because it's all in there. Let me pull that up. Oh boy. Let me see, let me switch over to my main channel. And it's also on the backup channel too, because people are listening to as well on True Royal. So let's get over here. Go to my community tab, but the link will be there on the top of the page of this video too as well. And you can click on the top of Anchor, and it'll take you right over there, and you can listen to how I truly feel. So as always, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love, and I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.